Hi everyone, it is alenajingle again, back with video number 16 in the series I've been doing, and in this video I'm going to hopefully be talking about names 25 through 21, and at number 25 in the year 2014 was the name Joshua. Joshua is the English form of the Hebrew Yehoshua, which means God is salvation. Joshua is the name of the man in the Bible who took over for Moses in leading the children of Israel. There are tons of celebrities named Joshua. There's actor Joshua Jackson, actor Josh Hutcherson, who plays PETA in the Hunger Games movies, actor Josh Hartnett and Josh Brolin, Josh Peck from the Drake and Josh show. There are also several singers with this name: Josh Groban, country singer Josh Turner, Josh Kelly, and Josh Radnor. I'm a fan of all four of their music. I have known tons and tons and tons of people named Josh or Joshua. I think this name would be super refreshing as a middle name. I do not see it used as a middle name often at all. This name is definitely going down in popularity right now. It was in the top 10 boy names from 1979 through 2009 and has been in the top 100 boy names since 1971 and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. My first Joshua alternative I have is Hosea. Hosea is a Hebrew name that means salvation, and in the Bible, the Joshua that I mentioned earlier was originally called Hosea, but his name was changed to Joshua. My husband actually has a little cousin named Oshea, which is also a form of this name, and he goes by Shay as a nickname. I think that someone who likes Joshua might like Hosea because they're both Old Testament Hebrew names, and I think Hosea could very easily honor a Joshua as well. My next name I think is insanely cool and very daring, and that is Yokua. And Yokua is the Hawaiian form of Joshua, which of course means God is salvation. This name is so rare I couldn't find basically any associations with it online, but I think it is insanely cool, like I mentioned earlier, and I think that someone who likes Joshua might like Yokua because they have the same meaning and origin, and again, Yokua could honor a Joshua as well. This last alternative is one of my new name crushes and probably my favorite out of these three alternatives, which they're all amazing for me, but that name is Nashua. Nashua is the name of an American city in New Hampshire, and this comes from the Algonquian Native American language, and it means river with pebble bottom. I really like that meaning because my husband proposed to me on the banks of a river that had a pebble bottom, believe it or not, the Jacks Fork River in Missouri. I think this name would be super accessible in 2015, especially because you could have the really cool nickname Nash. I think that someone who likes Joshua might like Nashua because they have that similar ending sound. Number 24 in the year 2014 was the name Gabriel. Gabriel is the English form of Gabriel, which means God is my strength. This name can also be pronounced Gabriel. Obviously, it's going to be pronounced as Gabriel more often in the US. Gabriel was the name of one of the archangels in the Bible. There's actor Gabriel Byrne, who played Friedrich in Little Women. I love that movie so much. And my husband's little cousin Shay that I mentioned with the last name has a brother named Gabriel, and he actually goes by the nickname Gabby, so that is a nickname option you could consider. There's a famous comedian named Gabriel Iglesias, and Gabriel Aubrey is a model who is the father of Nala Abriela, who is the daughter of Halle Berry. This name is also strongly associated right now with the show Supernatural, since there's such a huge following of that show. Of course, it's about angels and demons, so there is a character named Gabriel from that show. This name has been in the top 100 boy names since 1991, and it was also the top 100 boy names from the years 1976 through 1987, and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. My first Gabriel alternative I have is Gabriel or Gabriel. This is, of course, the original Hebrew form of this name, and it means God is my strength. There is a Canadian sci-fi writer named Guy Gabriel Kay. I think that is a really cool name, and my friend Amelia that I mentioned frequently on here, of course, who is another fellow YouTube namer, everything baby names on YouTube, first told me about that author, and I thought that was a really cool association, and she loves the name Gabriel. She might use it sometime in the future. We'll have to see. Of course, I think that someone likes Gabriel might like Gabriel because they have a really similar sound, same meaning and origin, and it can honor a Gabriel as well. My next Gabriel alternative I have is Gable. This is an English name that is referring to a roof feature. I love this name so much right now because I just watched Gone with the Wind in its entirety, and I'd only seen little bits and pieces of it when I was a very little girl, and I thought it was incredible, and Clark Gable was just so lovable in that movie, especially for having to play a pretty terrible character. So that's a great association. And also, my all-time favorite book series, I've mentioned this several times, is Anne of Green Gables. So those are two wonderful associations, and if this worked with my last name, honestly, I could easily consider using the name Gable. That someone who likes Gabriel might like Gable because they have a really similar sound, and Gabe could also be a nickname for Gable, just like Gabriel. And my last Gabriel alternative I have is Gabor or Gabor. This is the Hungarian form of Gabriel, which of course again means God is my strength. This name is extremely strongly associated with actress Zsa Zsa Gabor, and I just have to mention this since this is a name channel, that she and her siblings have the coolest names. She has a sister named Ava, E-V-A. Her name is Zsa Zsa. Her other sister's name is Magda, which is extremely uncommon and very cool, and then her mom's name is Jolie. I think that someone who likes Gabriel might like Gabor or Gabor because they have the same meaning and origin, and again, this could have Gabe as a nickname and honor a Gabriel. Number 23 in the year 2014 was the name Samuel. Samuel is the English form of the Hebrew Shemuel, which means God has heard. This is, of course, a biblical name. This is associated with actor Samuel L. Jackson, and Samuel Clemens was the original name of the author Mark Twain. Samuel Adams was one of the founding fathers of the U.S. Samuel Morse invented the Morse code. There are just obviously tons of associations with this name because it's been around for a long time. And once again, my husband's cousin, O'Shea, that I mentioned earlier, his middle name is Samuel. This name has always been in the top 100 boy names in the US, so it is insanely popular. My first Samuel alternative is Lemuel. This is one of my all-time favorite names. It is a Hebrew name that means belonging to God. Wonderful meaning. This is the name of a king in the Old Testament in one of my absolute favorite chapters in the Bible, where his mom gives him advice on what to look for in a godly woman. Like I mentioned in my last video, Lemuel Gulliver is the name of the main character from Gulliver's Travels. This was in the top 1,000 boy names up through 1976 and has not been since, and I think someone that likes Samuel might like Lemuel because they have a really similar look and sound. Oh, I just love this name so much and I wish I could use it so badly. My next Samuel alternative I have is Samwise, a very daring name. This is an invented name by J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Samwise Gamgee is one of the main characters from those books, and he's an amazing character, really, really lovable. And I just think this name would be super usable. There's actually a mom who in the naming community who has sons named Theoden and Peregrine, which are both Lord of the Rings names, and I would love to see the name Samwise used. And I think that someone like Samuel might like Samwise because Samwise could also go by the nickname Sam, just like Samuel, and I do think Samwise could honor a Samuel as well. And my last Samuel alternative I have is Samson. This is the English form of the Hebrew name Shimshon, which means son, S-U-N. Samson is of course a biblical name, and I honestly love this name and could probably use it, but my husband's cousin Joel does have a dog named Samson, and so everybody in the family associates that name with him, so it would be weird for us to use it. I think this name is extremely handsome. It was actually ranked at 628 in the year 2014, and it was in and out of the top 1,000 boy names between 1977 and now, and it is rising right now. I think that someone who likes Samuel might like Samson since they're both Old Testament names, and they both could go by the nickname Sam again. Number 22 in the year 2014 was the name Andrew. This is an English form of the Greek Andreas, and it means manly. Andrew is the name of one of the apostles in the New Testament in the Bible. The 7th president of the U.S. was named Andrew Jackson, and the 17th president of the U.S. was named Andrew Johnson. Andrew Lloyd Webber is an amazing, incredibly famous composer, and I love so many of his musicals. Andrew Garfield is a really popular actor right now. He played Spider-Man in the most recent Spider-Man movies. And in the Ender's Game series, Ender Wiggins, the main character's real name is actually Andrew, and he goes by Ender as a nickname. I think Andrew is very, very handsome and strong and classic, but it has been popular for a long time. It was a top 10 boy name from the years 1986 through 2007 and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. I do see this name used as a middle name very frequently as well. I think one thing that is very cool about the name Andrew that I don't think a lot of us realize is that it has a very unique ending sound, that E-W-U sound. You don't see that very often in a lot of names. My first Andrew alternative I have is Andre. Andre is the Portuguese form of Andrew, so it of course means manly again. I associate this name with Andre the Giant. He played Fezzik in the Princess Bride movie, and I just rewatched that recently, and oh, I just love it so much. There's a popular Armenian pop singer whose name is Andre. He just goes by the one name. And this name was ranked at 283 in the year 2014, has always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. I was actually kind of surprised and excited to see that it's up in the 200s for popularity. I think it's really cool. I think that someone who likes Andrew might like Andre because they have a similar sound, shared meaning and root, and of course Andre could honor an Andrew too. My next Andrew alternative I have is Anderson. This is an English name that means son of Andrew. This is a very popular surname, and it can have several different spellings used as a surname as well. This is associated with fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen, and Blaine Anderson is the name of one of the main characters from the show Glee. Anderson Cooper is a really popular TV journalist right now as well, and this name is ranked all the way up at 304 in 2014. I'm really glad that it's being used. I think it's insanely handsome, and it has always been in the top 1,000 boy names. And I think that someone who likes Andrew might like Anderson because it has a similar sound, and of course could honor an Andrew. And my last Andrew alternative I have is my favorite, and it's so cool, and that is Kendrew. Kendrew is a Scottish form of Andrew, which means manly. There was a Nobel Peace Prize winning chemist who had Kendrew as a last name, but otherwise it is extremely uncommon, and I don't understand why. It is so accessible, it can honor an Andrew or anyone with a Ken name. And I think that someone who likes Andrew might like Kendrew because it has the similar ending sound, it has the same meaning, and it could honor an Andrew. Again, oh, I think Kendrew is so gorgeous. I would love to see someone with this name. And at number 21 in the year 2014 was the name Anthony. Anthony is an English form of Antonius, which is typically known to have unknown meaning, though it could possibly come from the Greek anthos, which means flower. Anthony has always been in the top 100 boy names in the US, so there are, of course, tons and tons of associations with it. I do think of actors Anthony Hopkins and Anthony Michael Hall with this name. This is actually a family name for me. I have 3 generations of family members on my mom's side with the middle name Anthony. I do hear the name Anthony all the time as a first and unfortunately all the time as a middle name. So I definitely think if you're worried about popularity at all with the name Anthony, that you should definitely choose an alternative, because even if you stick in the middle name spot, you're still going to meet tons of people with Anthony as a middle name. His name was in the top 10 boy names from the years 2001 through 2010 as well. My first Anthony alternative I have is Anton. This is one of my all-time favorite names. This is the form of Anthony for several European countries, and of course possibly means flower like Anthony does. So I first heard this name on actor Anton Yelchin, who is my age, and I always had crushes on actors who were my age when I was in junior high and high school because I wanted to act really badly. I hear this name used a lot on Olympic athlete Apollo Anton Ono. An amazing cool association. In the West Side Story, Tony's real name was actually Anton in that as well. This name is ranked in the top 1,000 boy names at number 897 currently, and has actually always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US, surprisingly. I would absolutely use this name to honor my family members with the name Anthony, but my husband doesn't like it, of course. I think that someone who likes Anthony might like Anton because they have the same meaning and origin, they have the same nickname options, and of course Anton could again honor an Anthony. My next Anthony alternative I have is Albany. Albany is an English word that comes from the Latin word that means white. Albany is of course the capital of the state New York, and it's also the name of a river in Canada. Jazz musician Barney Biggard was actually born Albany Biggard, and he was known for playing with Duke Ellington, so that's a very, very cool association. I think that someone who likes Anthony might like Albany because they have a very similar sound, and oh my goodness, I think it would be insanely cool to meet in Albany. I've never met one before. I think it's really great. And my last Anthony alternative I have is Antonio. This is the Italian form of Anthony, which again possibly means flower. I think most people associate this name with actor Antonio Banderas. Really cool, great association. And Antonio is the name of characters in 3 of Shakespeare's plays. It was actually going down in popularity. I was really surprised to see it's all the way up at number 139 in 2014 in the US. And it's going down, which meant it was more popular. So that was really exciting and unexpected to me. And this was actually in the top 100 boy names in the US from the years 1972 through 2007, and has always been in the top 300 boy names in the US. I have not met many Antonios, so that was really surprising to me, but I think it's a really cool, strong name, and I think that someone who likes Anthony might like Antonio because, of course, they have the same root and meaning, and it could honor an Anthony as well. That is it for this video. Once again, please tell me what your favorites of the alternatives I listed were, and any others that I didn't mention that you like are in the comments below, and thank you again for watching. Bye!